You ever seen Shamu?
No. Is that a
y'all ever
SeaWorld?
seen the Shamu?
Is that a SeaWorld favorite?
Yeah.
Is
SeaWorld.
Shamu alive?
It's a SeaWorld joint.
It's one of the SeaWorld prisoners that they have. The incarcerated whale.
Is Shamu still around?
Shamu's the only prisoner that likes to be waterboarded.
Wow.
And that one's free.
Yeah.
Shamu, I think, is more like the Ghost Rider handle. It becomes something passed from child to father to child over time. I don't think it's a running singular whale. I think it's more of a
like one of those old
Well,
families.
one dies of malnourishment or suicide, and they have to replace it really quick.
Right.
Yeah.
What? So it's like a like an old cat. Do you know how like when families get a cat and then it dies and they're like, "This is Boingo 2."
Yeah. I actually know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like you can't just name it the other cat.
Yeah, it's like a different breed.
But cats don't care about their names. If you named a dog like Jeff too, like the dog would be a little bit depressed. I think.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think it could process the extra syllables.
You should name a dog. Do you want to go outside?
Because they love hearing that.
Yeah, because they love hearing that.
More than their name.
And then when you say, "Do you want to go outside?" they'll just kind of like look over. They won't get all like excited.
Yeah, they'll get exposed. It's exposure therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you say bingo, they jump up and down because that's when you say.
That's when they go
outside.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bingo. News from Bed, the podcast. Welcome to News from Bed, the podcast. You, the viewer, are the most important part of this podcast. However, it can't be done without glorious guests such as James Donlon
Hi.
and Jack Polefko.
Thanks for having me.
Did I say that right?
You added in extra letters and stuff.
What is it?
It's Polefko.
Polefko. Oh, I think I just jumbled.
Yeah, I've gotten Polefko.
Wow.
Gotten Polfkey.
Polky.
Just feels like people are like racist.
You were
a little bit.
definitely a substitute teacher's worst nightmare.
Yeah, I always knew when they got to me, they would have that stare where they just like stop. They'd be like, like Smith, and then they'd stare at my name,
And you'd just be like,
and they would go, and I'd be like Polefko, and they'd be like, okay.
the bet because I was the same
douche.
I was the same way. Like my first name is Patrick, so it's Padraic, and like they get to it, and like you get to make a decision as this kid. You get to either be like, it's Patrick, and like save him all the grief,
Yeah.
or you can just sit there silently and like wait for them to be like,
struggle.
nope, wrong, it's not Patriarch. That was the worst one I got.
Patriarch.
Your name is Patrick,
Fight the patriarchy.
Patrick, yeah.
not Patrick.
No.
Patrick.
Patrick, Paddy.
Is that also Irish?
His brother's name's Patrick.
It's Gaelic, but I don't
Yeah.
like to use the word gay and lick.
Yeah. You're tasteful.
It's almost suck.
Unlike licking a gay.
That's your crest. It's just a guy sucking a dick.
So let me tell you guys about this past weekend. Theo Von style.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Man, I was clipping my toenails.
we had a brother down south.
Yeah,
He used
my
to steal
cousin one time.
goats.
My cousin one time he came over and he ate 3 whole bags of Cheez-Its.
I never watched The Simpsons, but, I'll check it out.
Classic Theo Von.
Yeah, classic.
So
We all have to take turns.
about a month ago, my eccentric uncle from upstate New York, way up
Invented
in
a
Utica,
time machine.
he invented a time machine. He told my dad he wants to do a comedy show, and he wants me to like set it up. And when I first heard this, I was like, "There's no way I'm doing that because it's gonna be like my dad, my aunts and uncles, like just extended family there at a bar
In
that's
your
like,
hometown?
No, like way up in Utica.
Mm.
So it's like the middle of nowhere. They never
Aren't they
see
being
comedy.
invaded by Russia?
It maybe. They look like they got invaded by Russia. But
Hello, welcome to Utica, New York. Here's your firearm.
They bombed a school over there.
so when I heard this, I was like, yeah, let me think about it. And I kind of polled it to other comedians, and everybody was like, don't do that. Like, it's a terrible idea. You don't want to do something like that. But I was like, you know what? Like, they would be happy if I did it. So I set it up, and originally I was going to bring James, and then Also, Levi White, Grant Moore, and then since James couldn't go, I brought Rachel Darvis. So it ended up being the four of us: me, Levi, Grant, and Rachel. And
the Mount Rushmore of New York City comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's fun. If I was there, there would have been like 3 of the Mount Rushmore and then James Donlon. But they were able to call it the Mount Rushmore of New York City comedy because I didn't go.
It's you in the foreground smiling in front of Mount Rushmore.
James is Mount Rush less. But anyway,
speaking of Ukraine, I'm Russian to the bathroom.
So
don't slip on your way there.
We're heading up. It's a 5-hour drive. Yeah, it's a 5.
I'm here with Patty DeFino telling us a story from his weekend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a 5-hour drive. We get up there, and my uncle is outside. He's like the most crazy guy. He's like, the funny people are here. Look at them. And we're all just like so embarrassed. Like, yeah, hey, how's it going? He walks us into the bar that the show is going on. There's like, no joke, 40 people in there. No one under the age of 60.
Whoa.
And
dude.
they all, as soon as he walks through the door, he goes, hey guys, look at this. The New York comics are here. The funny New York comics are going to make us laugh tonight. Are you guys ready for that? And they're all kind of like looking at us like, who are these pieces of shit? You know? So like right away, we're all like super uncomfortable. And
they look at you and they just see like blue hair, like fingernail paint. Even though you don't look like that,
they all know you're immediately about to start talking about your penis.
Yes,
you know that you're about to start talking about your penis.
Exactly. And the worst part is like right before we got there, like half an hour before we got there, we stopped to get gas, and I'm looking at everyone in the car, and like everyone's got like tight pants on and like a tight shirt and just the biggest, like we were gay. Yeah. We officially were gay. Like,
you're Utica gay.
Yeah. That's the thing that people don't tell you.
They came to town and they're like, I guess Pride Month is back in town.
Yeah. That's the thing they don't tell you about being gay is it's not like in your mind. It's just geographically where you are.
Yeah.
And so we get in there and the show is starting in like an hour. And they're like, yeah, we're going to start up. And there's no lights on in the bar. Like, it's totally dark. And my dad went and set up a 2-camera live stream on the show.
That's sick.
It's the scariest comedy show of all time.
There's 2 cameras.
No
And my uncle's daughter, so my cousin, played guitar to, like, kind of do an intro thing. And they're like loving the guitar and everything. Everyone's like drunk. It's 7:00, so everyone's fucking hammered there.
Yeah.
And
so they're cool.
They're cool. We're like outside. There's a Trump 2024 flag hanging in the bar. So we're outside, like being like, this is gonna go like this. Maybe this will be good, whatever. So we get it. We hear the music. We're all kind of waiting outside because you don't want to be in the room, when like the show starts. So we're all just outside, and then we hear he's like, my uncle Dennis gets back on the mic after, and he's just like, all right, like it's time for these New York City comics to come in. Now they think they're pretty funny, but we'll be the judge of that, right? All us hillbillies up here, we're gonna be the judge of that. And like we're walking through the door, just like, fuck, like goddamn. And then he goes, now they didn't tell me this, but they brought a woman with them. But like women can be funny, right? Who's ever heard of a funny woman before? And dude, people are going, no. Never. Like people are just like, I don't know anything.
I like how your uncle's trying to convince himself on stage too. Like he's trying to prepare the audience. He's like, no, I mean, they're pretty good, right?
Yeah. And people are shouting, and it's the most rowdy crowd I've ever seen in my life. So Rachel's just sinking in her chair because they're just saying like, there's no way she's going to be funny.
Do you think if I went instead of Rachel, they still would have been like,
there's
a woman here?
Yeah.
James, you would have killed. No, they were like, I didn't know Larry the Cable Guy was coming.
Where the bop bop bop? That's all I do.
I want you.
I want y'all.
Yeah, you're more like
I should have just pretended to be a redneck.
Yeah, you're like more like Larry the Roku guy. Like, what kind of technology? So Grant Moore is hosting,
okay,
and he starts, and immediately the heckling begins.
Fuck yeah!
It's my family heckling.
Oh, no.
My 2 uncles sitting like one side of the stage and the other, just shouting things at him, shouting things to each other. Grant's doing a good job. He's like kind of roasting him, like whatever. But it just starts to increase for the entire show. We all had to do 20 minutes. For the entire show, the heckling never stopped. It just got worse and worse and worse. No, then other people started to chime in. People at the bar. And like there's just a constant chatter. So Grant goes up, does 20. He does well for that. Levi goes up next, bombs. So the momentum starts to drift away. Then Rachel goes up, and she never stood a chance. You know, like the fact that they like open the door, like, everyone's like looking at her. They know. At one point, she goes, "So I went on a date the other day, and this woman from the back just goes, 'What was her name?'" It just gets a huge laugh.
Oh my God,
dude, she's like gonna kill herself on stage. I lit her at 15 because I'm like, I'm not gonna put you through this. So she gets off. Finally, it's my turn. The crowd is so reared up. My uncle gets back on the mic. Now, this is my nephew.
So Grant is not hosting anymore. It's fucking Uncle Dennis.
He's the one who put this whole thing together. He's the one who brought all these comments. Like, he's just like ruining any kind of like I'm not a comedian anymore. Now at this point I'm like basically a cancer patient who they're giving a chance.
This is the movie 300.
I get up on stage. Nobody's listening to anything. I'm just waiting for them to stop talking. I start to go into my act. I black out completely because my dad is there. My uncles are there. I'm like saying shit that I don't want to say in front of them. I took my pants off. Like fully off.
To show your stockings?
I did an N-word bit to complete silence.
Oh my God.
Dude, I did 35 minutes to just a fucking crowd with... Dude, during my set, this woman just starts yelling. Like, for the last 15 minutes of my set, she's like, "You have a tiny penis. You got a small penis." And I'm just like, "Shut up, your pussy sucks." Like, I didn't know what the fuck to say. I was just seeing red. Dude, at one point, like, there's no stool, so, like, there's just a chair with, like, my notes on it. I grab the chair, just rip the top off. I'm holding it in my hand. Dude, just bombing in front of everyone. I do 35 minutes. I actually end on a laugh. And I get off stage, and I sit down, and I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Dude, my uncles get back up on stage, but like two of them, they get together, and my other uncle, not Dennis, my uncle Sean, grabs the mic and he goes, "Let's get Patty back up here, huh?" And I'm just like, no. He's like, "Come on, 3 more sets. 3 more sets." Dude, I just did 35 minutes. Right. I have no material. They bully me. I go back up on stage. I go back up and just start telling another joke. People are just shouting at me, like, at this point. Didn't go well. I finally get off stage. They immediately start doing karaoke. And everyone in our group is just like, we need to get the fuck out of here. So it takes a while. Dude, everyone was fucking hammered. My uncle goes, he's like, "Here, I got some food for you guys." Just drops a thing of wings on the ground, shovels them back into the case and hands them to us. I'm like, I'm not going to fucking eat this shit. So we find it like...
Can I hang out with your family?
Dude, crazy. So we all get into the car and we go to the place that we're staying, which is like one of my... He's like super rich, lives on a lake. So he has this little property like kind of near his house. So we all stay in there. We throw our stuff in there. We're all just kind of like looking at each other like, what the fuck was that? Like, all of us were pissed. We're like, none of us knew how to handle this room at all. Like, so my uncle's like, "I'm going to stop by to give you guys your money." So we're like, okay. So we're there for about an hour. It's like 11 o'clock. He comes in. And he's just like hooting and hollering. He's shouting. He's like, "Ah!" He steps up to the table. We're all sitting at this table playing poker. He takes 2 things of backwoods out of his pocket, throws it on the table. And then in his other pocket, he takes out coffee and a bag of sugar and throws it on the table. Then just sits down and lights up a backwoods, takes out a roll of hundreds and just starts like peeling them off. We're like, who is this? Like, everyone's like, "Patty, this is a..." So he pays us all like extra. We all made like $150.
Whoa,
then he proceeds to sit at this table and put on a clinic. The funniest 2 hours of just rambling and telling stories and telling jokes. Dude, he made us all look like such fucking rookies. Like in that too, after paying us like $700 total. Dude, it was like, it was so crazy. He was telling all these stories about like, he was doing like Bill Cosby bits. He was telling stories about like running up and down escalators, just like slamming his hand on the table, flipping the chair back, laughing, like just totally dominating the room. Takes out these fake bottles of liquor. He's like, I was trying to tempt someone to break into this place so I could catch him. I put fake liquor on the table. Like, just madness. Finally, he like stands up and leaves, and we're just like, guys, we all have to quit comedy. Like, we do. We can't handle, like, none of us are as funny as he just was for 2 fucking hours. Yeah. And then he ended up losing his car keys. So he like had to walk home. But the funny part was at the end of the night, in this like building, there was like 4 or 5 bedrooms. They all had like big full beds, but there was one bedroom up in the attic that had 4 single beds next to each other, and we all slept in there.
No,
like little fucking dwarves.
Yeah. We all slept in there, and then the next day, like, he made us breakfast the next day, and then we went home, and all of us were just like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah, that's
dude,
crazy.
It was traumatic. Like, I'm thinking back, looking,
dodged a bullet there,
dude. You really did. Like, thinking about that experience on stage, just the things that I said. Like, dude, the N-word bit I did was like, it's like, oh, I used the N-word over the weekend, but don't worry. Like, let me explain the context. I was at a slave auction. That's a bit.
You think it would kill? You know?
Yeah, that's what
I know. In your head, you were like, "This is my back. Like, I can."
I know. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, they're gonna love this."
Like, we just left. The slave
fucking
auction.
dead silent. Even the Trump flag stopped like flowing in the breeze.
Someone goes, "Where's the joke?" You know?
Yeah. The final punchline is like, I just call him an N-word in front of the other slave owners, but when I get home, he's not my N-word. He's just the guy who fucks my wife. Dude, crickets. And I even addressed it. I was like, this is the most silent it's been the whole night. I like, looking back, I should have opened with
tape?
that.
I have the live stream.
Dude, it's on tape, but there's no lights, so it's pitch dark in the bar.
Can you play it behind the whole podcast? The whole show? And you can put it at full volume. I don't think it'll affect the levels.
Dude, there was people like like Grant Moore got threatened. Someone threatened to beat him up. They walked right up on stage. And they're just like, I'm a grown man. I work hard. And Grant's like, okay, like, dude. Crazy.
They all got drunk, and they were all just.
They all got drunk and got way too rowdy.
That's so crazy.
Okay, hot take. I feel like this might be the best thing for your comedy career. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is a really good, like, if you can like kind of troop through that, like, I think you're fine.
Well, that's what I was saying to Darvis, because I was like, you struggled here.
Yeah.
I was like, it's gonna make like city comedy so much easier. And she did a show right after, and she was like, that was a fucking walk through the park, because like you just, once you experience that, and you're like, holy shit, I'm capable of like totally stripping down to nothing in front of these people. Oh, Rachel also started a "Let's Go Brandon" chant, and they fucking hated it. And she was like, "Oh, I sold out, and they didn't laugh."
Yeah. Well, what do they want? Because they, you know what I mean?
That was what the thing. They want? The lines they draw in the sand are like so strong, like they're so specific, but you can't. There's like no real. Like, you never know until you try doing it.
Right.
What they really liked was people telling them that they all fuck their cousins. They kept, and they loved when people called them gay. They like really laughed at that stuff.
You got 35 minutes of that. You know what I mean? You bunch of homos. I don't know.
You just go where they're at, I guess. But what's so funny is you just went to Long Island. We did it a couple weeks ago, and Patty like did like 30 and like killed for like 30 minutes on Long Island, like and it was similar to this. It was a bar. It wasn't well lit. It was like not proper show. There was like an entire. It was weird. I mean, not it was fine, but it was just the way bar shows usually are set up, and you did completely fine. So it's like you never know.
It's weird too, because like you would think it would be the same thing, but like this show is like 20 times as rowdy. Like, it was impossible. Every time you're like, you get the audience and you're like, oh, here's my big punchline. Right. You're about to say it, and then someone just like yells something out. They're like, yeah, I bet what, like, and just right in the middle, you're like, dude, I was so close. Because if you hit a full bit, if you get a full bit, then like everyone's like, oh, this is comedy, you know? and then they might like listen, but you could never get to the end of a full bit because like someone would like interject at some point.
I feel like at a certain point, would you not just give up and just start talking to the audience? Like, you know what I mean? Just yelling at them like Bill Burr style.
We tried, but the problem is once you start talking to one, like other people just start talking to each other.
That sounds kind of fun though.
Dude, looking back, it's
if you just don't treat it as a comedy show at that point too.
I know.
Like, all right,
that's the thing is like they don't know what a comedy show. They don't have comedy out there. So this is like the one thing they said like once a year we'll do that. Yeah. So they're like. They just think it's like this, you know, they're hanging out at the bar watching TV. And
they think it's classic court jester, like, you're up there and we're going to make fun of you.
Exactly.
Like, that's what they think it is.
Yeah, we were the elephants at the zoo. They were throwing peanuts
at
us.
I think that genuinely. Yeah. They were like, you're the clown.
Yes.
They probably actually think that's what you're trying to do is be a clown.
Yeah. But then the interesting thing is, like, I'm standing outside after my set just, like, thinking, because like during the set I had to totally disconnect. Like that's the only way I could get through it.
It's crazy. And take off your pants and say the N-word.
So I'm standing outside. I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? People are leaving. They're like, that was a great show. Like, thank you so much. I'm like, fuck you guys. Like that was.
That's the thing though. They'll always have a good time.
They had a good time.
People don't know what a good show is. I mean, they do, but it's like if you start apologizing for doing a bad job, people will be like, oh, maybe you did a bad job.
That's the one thing is like none of us ever were like, oh, this is terrible, you know?
Right.
It's a good show if people had a good time.
Yeah.
Even if you did bad, like if people were like, wow, that was the best night ever. It's like, I guess it was the best night ever.
Dude, the funniest part is too, I knew how depressed I was going to be from this. I booked a therapist in advance.
Oh my god! Oh no! How was it?
I went to therapy yesterday. It was not great because it's like
about this experience specifically.
I ended up just talking about like everything, but like it's you know when you go to therapy, the first one is like nothing. Like they don't give you anything because they want you to keep coming back. You know. So they're like, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get you to identify the sadness in your. And I'm just like, can you just like tell me one thing? That I can. Have you guys gone to therapy?
Yeah, I went for years.
Yeah, it's weird because like when you're in therapy, it kind of feels good because you're talking about it.
Yeah,
and then immediately after, you just get so sad. Like
it's not. It wasn't a relief. It never felt. I felt like I was running in circles. And then at one point, my therapist had to stop me, and she was like, "You have to stop arguing with me."
Oh wow!
And I was like, "I'm not arguing with you." Like I was like, because she was like, "No, I'm saying I am telling you that what you're thinking isn't like you're not looking at it right."
Yeah.
And then you keep saying like, no, but da 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 da. And I would just argue because like I'd be like, oh, like I hate myself and I'm really bad at this and whatever. And she's like, well, Jack, I feel like, you know, based off what you're telling me, that's not true. And I go, but you didn't really read the room. Like, like, and so it would be like, it was like 6 months of like probably wasted therapy because I was just arguing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I got from mine was like, I would like, I kind of feel like if you're the person in therapy, you kind of are in like what you say matters more than what they say.
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
She told me to shut up.
But like okay. There was times where he would say something and then I would start to respond and he would just keep talking while I'm talking to like sneak a little joke in. And I'm just like, dude, like,
trying to riff?
Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
My worst part was like I would be in like, because you know when you like really get into talking about something, you kind of like go into a trance and you're like reliving whatever you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I would like kind of be doing that, and then I would say something, and then she would laugh, and I'd be like, "Oh," and she was just the way you said that was really funny.
Like that.
And I'm
like, talking about my dad molesting my dog, but I guess I can see the humor in that.
Yeah.
She's like, "Wait, stand up. There's like a brick wall behind." She's like, "Hold on, hold this." So, my dog.
Yeah. Getting therapy in the South is tough though because like I remember she would like work with my doctor to try to figure out some medication, and I was like really way over. Like I was done getting medication. I also told them I was like, if you tell me I'm bipolar, I'm going to kill myself. And they're like, oh, well, you are. Like, you know, they're like, I don't know how to treat you. Like, I gave them a catch-22. Yeah, and then my doctor was like, okay, you know how you have racing thoughts? And he goes, yeah. I was like, yeah. And And he was like, well, this is going to make those thoughts slow down. It's bipolar medication. Like, it was just, he tricked me into it. But I remember the first thing I said when I went in there.
Did he put it in a piece of American
cheese?
No,
they had to open my throat and put it down and massage my arm.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But before they did that, It
would be funny if all their medication was suppository.
Yeah.
So it's like...
have you ever
Tylenol?
Have you ever had medication pushed up your ass?
No.
Unless
it's a woman's finger.
I had a really bad.
That's my medication.
That's my medication. But before I walked
a non-binary pinky. That's my medication. Suppository then pronouns in my butthole. Yeah, dude. I'm about to fucking nut.
But before they did that, I walked in and
go.
Before I walked in, and I was like, oh, like I'm suicidal, and the doctor said, well, have you tried Jesus?
Have you tried killing yourself?
He said, have you tried Jesus? And I was like, I will walk out of this room right now if you talk about God one more time. I was like, and he goes, okay, sorry, yeah, my bad. Well, how about this? And he gave me medication that worked immediately. I was like, what the fuck?
Damn.
And then as soon as you take it, he's like, the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit.
How
Dude, I've never had to take a suppository, but I did one time. I had to take lidocaine up the ass. Have you ever had lidocaine?
No, what's that?
It's just numbs your butthole because I had a hemorrhoid.
Oh no,
and, dude, it was so funny. They gave me this big box of it and a tube thing, and I just have to stick it up and then shoot it up there. So I just I just kind of lumber out of the bathroom like a Boston cream donut. Dude, just
rubbing your ass because you feel like there's something on it or in it.
Yeah, it just feels you're like, God damn it, dude. God damn. How do they do this?
You walked in a woman's heels.
How do they do this in the West Village? Yeah.
Dude, you should go to the parade for that. There should be a float for guys who have to put shit in their ass for medical reasons. Medically, I'm gay. I'm medically gay.
Medically homosexual.
Have you ever had a bad therapist?
I had a bad. I only went to therapy in high school for a couple months, and he was.
Wait, what caused it? Who did you suggest it?
My mom was like, "You've changed." And I was like, no, I know. I got I was selling homecoming t-shirts. I was the class president and I was selling homecoming t-shirts in the lunchroom, and I was wearing this blue hoodie and I was cozy, and then I just kind of felt this weird weight that kind of emanated from the center of my chest to my whole body, and I couldn't get up a little bit. I was kind of sunken in my chair and I just laid down, and then I felt that way for 8 months. I had the deepest, most palpable physical depression of my life in high school.
Yeah.
And then this therapist was like, I think you're a leader. I'm like, this is not what he's like. You want to go on a walk?
Garden of the King. I'll tell you what,
that's not what I want to hear. I'm sad. He just
he was right though.
When your therapist is riffing with you, my therapist is. He's like, take the sword.
You are chosen by God.
Mom, this is an oracle. I wanted therapy.
It was foretold in the prophets.
Just white eyes, just yeah, I knew it.
I don't want medication. This is a potion. It's all natural.
Why is he stirring goat hooves over an open fire?
Listen, you have bipolar disorder. It's this, or we Baker Act you. I wish I went to. No, he was just it was a free, government assisted healthcare type beat right next to Planned Parenthood. I walked from high school every Wednesday, and the guy was just he would listen to me talk, and a lot of it was I was like, everything's gonna change, and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
and he was like, yeah.
Honestly, good therapy.
I mean,
it was saying yeah.
It's so funny.
He was just always trying to make it about something else, which was if you just listened, it would have been fine. And then they always try to push you into medication.
And then he was like, if you excuse me, and he puts his gloves on to walk into Planned Parenthood because I have an appointment.
The name Planned Parenthood is so funny because it's basically all right, here's the plan. We're going to fucking kill it.
Here's the plan. We kill the babies. I'm going to make this fetus disappear. The Joker. We found all these babies robbing the mob. Unborn babies.
Do you want to know how you're going to get those scars?
When he goes and gets Harvey Dent at the hospital, he quickly does a few abortions.
Yeah,
he's I do it recreationally.
He carves into their vagina.
His healthcare system?
A wider vagina.
He blows up the hospital.
This is my kink. When your butthole and your vagina are the same hole.
It's all the same. and then you pay him and he just sets it on fire. You're like, wait a minute.
What is wrong with you? I do it for fun.
It's a non-profit.
Yeah. All you care about is money.
It's where no one profits.
Yeah, they're blowing up hospitals that are going to give birth to kids. Just maternity wings exploding.
I took feminism's white knight, Lena Dunham,
one time,
and made her say she wishes she had an abortion.
One time I had a therapist tell me, because I said, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is like the right girl that I'm dating. And he goes, well, you know, I have a son and he's really in love with this girl. You know what I call it? Pussy cocaine.
Wait, what?
Because when you're addicted to puss.
Who is your therapist? Rodney Dangerfield?
Yeah, he lit a cigarette out.
and he was like, but yeah, that's just what us guys go through. And I was like, is there another therapist that you recommend? And he goes, well, if I were to see a therapist, I'd go see Gabrielle. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then that's the one I ended up helping me.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe you should go see.
Did you like having a female therapist better?
Yeah, for sure.
Because they always say men should have male therapists, but like I can't open up to a man the same way.
They think you're going to fall in love with the woman.
Yeah.
Because they think
That's
men.
not true.
What's so wrong about that?
This isn't The
That's
Sopranos.
her job. Okay?
Yeah.
I think part of her job description is, and then some men will have inappropriate feelings for you that you have to discard.
Yeah.
They sign a certain waiver.
I find that male therapists are either so soft they're stupid. Like we had one at UNF campus who like really loved East. He was like this white guy who loved like Eastern philosophy.
Yeah.
And he was just dumb. Like I was like, oh, you're not like philosophical. Like you're just stupid and soft spoken.
Yeah.
And then there is this, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum is this guy, and I think they just want to be like, oh, he's a guy, so I gotta have some guy time to get him to open up. I'm like, no, I'm willing to open up immediately.
Yeah.
You know, but you're like talking about.
You show me them titties.
He was talking about how he was like he's talking about he was a rock star when he was young, and I'm like, I don't really care. Like, you know, like that's not why I'm here. Like I'm here to talk about.
Yeah, I was in this band called The Strokes.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Julian
Casablanca. Like, why don't you chill out?
Yeah. See, my guy, I'm pretty sure is gay just by his like, mannerisms and stuff.
Sick, dude.
But I think I'm like too homophobic for that because I'm like, what if he falls in love with me?
Yeah, you get too emotional and he goes like,
next thing you know, I'm shooting lidocaine in his ass.
Yeah, dude. He's like, I got hemorrhoids. Need to numb my hole.
No, I don't know. Like, also, I feel like most female therapists are like old. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I'm sitting there, it's not like some young hot.
I had a young hottie.
Really?
I had a young hottie.
Did you walk out the door immediately and you're like, nope?
I
because you got too hard.
I couldn't even have a hot English teacher. I can't be that vulnerable with anyone.
Yeah. I stuck with her because she was like so uninterested in me that it was like I didn't feel any kind of connection.
Why do you think she's uninterested in you?
She would just like always be looking at the clock and be like, "Yeah, well, maybe like you're just a pussy," you know? Like, that kind of thing.
That's
just drawing a circle on the pad of paper.
Do you think she was like?
She just stands up and turns away from me, like in the room. I was just like facing the wall. Like, do I keep going? She's like, just keep fucking talking.
She goes, you know those like door stoppers? She starts like flicking that on the floor like a little kid. She goes, this is boring. This is boring.
You're weird. You meet your therapist at a nightclub. Yeah, you're fucking weird. Honestly, you just get me another drink.
Turned therapist.
But dude, that's the thing. Is like I don't know if I need therapy or if I just need.
I don't believe it anymore.
Stand up, because like stand up is kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, but people like you afterwards for it, and you don't have to pay them; they might pay you.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I could make money telling.
I'm kind of over therapy. Just because I felt like it was causing me to think about my problems too much.
Yeah.
I was like, I already think about it enough. I was like, I don't want to think about it anymore. Like I've actually feel better after. Like, but I went through therapy, so maybe it's good for a minute. But
people say
you're not supposed to be in it for your whole life.
We're over pathologized, right, or whatever. Like everyone's looking for a diagnosis for something. Sometimes you just gay.
How much trauma can you have if you're 21 years old? You have 21 years of possible trauma. If you're
and
in therapy,
6 of them were locked in your dad's basement while he raped you.
Okay,
Get over it.
Yeah, well, and that is the point I was trying to make.
It's called
That's exactly what I was trying to
It's called
Wake up.
It's called living in New Mexico.
If you don't like it, you can leave this country. All right, you come over the border and
go to old Mexico. Okay,
yeah, see how it's going down
Trump
there.
would be a great therapist.
Okay, so basically, you need money.
Have you seen old?
The problem is you're poor. You need a building with your name on it. You'll never feel bad about it.
Have you seen old videos of Trump? Have you seen old videos of
Old
Trump?
of him?
Like when he's younger?
And he's hot?
He was
Trump?
so sweet to people in interviews. It's really bizarre. He was like, "Oh, hey, good to see you. Thank you so much."
A life of ballin' takes a toll on a real G.
Yeah.
That was because the pussy he was getting at that point, it wasn't. He didn't have to pull it in himself.
He didn't have to grab it.
Yeah.
He just had to call it.
Yes.
Fantastic vagina.
God, you have
I will sell this in a sharper image.
You have a world class.
Remember when he sold steaks in a sharper image?
Really?
Yeah.
I sell freeze-dried steaks.
Yeah, he just thought he had a deal with Sharper Image, the electronics company, where he was like, well, then we're gonna install fridges and you can sell Trump steaks.
Wow.
It didn't work out.
Yeah, that definitely didn't work.
It didn't work out. It sounds like a failed
Dude, I have
Shark Tank attempt.
I have one eyebrow hair here that's like super long.
Yeah.
Why do these even grow?
I have one on my ear that's like right on the tip of my. That's just like a long.
Are eyebrows just like for evolutionary benefits for us to go like, hey, can I sniff your pussy?
Yeah. Did that work? Does that benefit you?
Yeah. Evolutionary benefits of like looking across, like when a girl with a fat ass walks by and go. That's it. That's the only.
It was honestly invented for Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
and then everyone else just happens.
Yeah, they were just waiting for the right guy to get.
Alrighty then.
That guy's an expert. Yeah. That's his main talent is having eyebrows. He's the best guy at having.
He's got the best eyebrows. In the
had a Spanish teacher in high school who, like, when she was young, she was like 19. She was from Argentina. She got super fucked up at a nightclub, and she used to always just like her like thing for her friend group was like she would get fucked up and shave off her eyebrows.
Yeah.
And then like one day they just never grew back because I think like every time you shave them, there's like a 50% chance they grow back.
Oh my god!
And like she just kept rolling the dice.
They're like baby teeth.
Yeah.
You just get one set.
Yeah. So she shaved them off, and then they didn't grow back. So she tattooed purple eyebrows onto her fucking head.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and that's what
Some
she
Hunger
had for the rest
Games ass shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's like an alternate future.
Yeah, she used to always yell at me, Fausto. That was my name, Fausto.
Why do they give you a fake name in Spanish class?
I don't know.
They were like, yeah, I don't want to just use my real name. Because if I went to a Spanish country, they're not like, okay, your name's Henrito now. That's not what they're gonna do.
Your name is Nacho Supreme Grande.
Whatever happened to the Taco Bell Chihuahua?
Died.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
Chihuahuas don't live
OD.
too long.
He OD'd.
Dude, you talk about
He
it.
OD'd on.
Have you seen the Charlie Sheen Taco Bell commercial?
No.
Where he goes, try the new Taco Bell beefy cheese burrito.
Cool yourself off with Baja Blast.
Think outside the bell.
You'll take a shit the size of 2.5 men.
I swear to God, my dad cried one time after walking out of a Taco Bell bathroom because he said covered wall to wall with shit.
God.
And he went out and threw up. Just kept saying how.
Dude,
I know how.
That's why they had to stop making a dollar menu. They're like, you got to pay more, dude. You can't have
Yeah.
a homeless guy come in here, unleash his secretions.
Yeah, it's chemical warfare.
Guys, we did the late night show last week too. That was fun.
Oh, dude, that was so
blast.
good.
We were the main cast.
That was so great.
The sound guy didn't believe I could do it.
Really? He
He came up and he goes, really, there should be like a sound guy
He's
here
like, you
for
can't
it.
do
And I
something.
was
You
like,
not black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he believed. He's like,
That's not what Q said.
I ain't never seen a white boy do sound before.
Yeah.
He calls his friend. He's taking pictures. He's like, he can do it.
Yeah.
He can do it. Like they lied to him his whole life. He just believed that only
He's
black
the
people.
only one.
Oh, now you're gentrifying the ones and twos?
You know, I've only ever known like old white guys.
I've actually only white guys have ever. It's always an ancient white man. Like at the radio station we used to work at. If something went wrong, like technically, Chip would come in and fix it because no one
at our college radio station, which was built by hand by an old man named Chip. And wasn't it you
He's
and
a
me?
badass.
He was cool. We were sitting in the studio one day.
Guys named Chip can always do everything.
He could do whatever he wanted. He looked. I don't even know what he looked like. He looked
So
like the
funny.
John Morgan from Morgan and Morgan a little bit.
He looked like the guy from Up. Like
Yeah, but he was.
really?
he had like
tall,
he was
though.
taller than the guy from Up, but he had like the glasses, and you come in and you go, "Hey Chip," and you go, "Why'd you screw it this time?"
Yeah, he was like cool. And one time he came into the radio station. And he was like,
All right, time for me to leave.
"Whoa!" Fucking My wife is dead. He was like, when I was younger and I lived in Jacksonville, I loved living here because there's a river that goes through the city. So I had one girlfriend on one side of the river and another girlfriend on the other.
Such a baller.
Like, what the fuck?
He was such a baller.
Dropped that. Like, he was just a grumpy old man who just was hoeing around.
That was awesome because back then, like, a river was all the boundary you needed to keep your love life secret.
Cross the river.
Yeah.
He was actually doing a lot of work just to like go. You know, he was riding his bike over.
Yeah.
That's what I call pussy cocaine.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. He had an addiction. He had to call his dealer.
Just taking a fan boat to some pussy.
It's gonna be the best pussy in my life.
It's like Deliverance.
Yeah, you get fucked in the ass.
You got purdy, Lee.
Dude, I feel like the want for something is so much better than the actual thing for all of humans. So much is that like when you used to have to really go after it and like you know, like the guy who went after Rapunzel, he probably had the best nut of all time because he had to climb up that whole mountain. You know, like
plus all that hair. Imagine holding that hair back, dude.
Yeah.
Just
hold on.
Actually,
he's
longest
like,
hair in the world, longest dick in the world. So he's like all the way on the other side of the state.
She's trying to put her hair in a ponytail while she's blowing him, and he's just there. He nuts before he's done.
Yeah.
Is that what Tangle's about?
That's exactly what Tangle's about.
Dude, she was definitely a target for that Locks of Love.
Yeah.
You know that?
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one.
Her.
Yeah, she could
Yeah.
Sure, that hair could have housed a bunch of leukemias, dude.
Yeah.
House.
Is that what you think Locks of Love does?
They make houses like three little pigs.
Don't they throw
and we store the leukemia in the wigs.
Don't they just throw
I huff and I puff.
Yeah. They throw weaves on sick kids, don't they?
Yeah, they give them sick weaves, dude. They give him Drake-style dreads. Just a little white boy with leukemia and the fucking... He's got, like... I want to donate, like, beard hair so a kid can just have a fucking, like... get squared the fuck up.
Yeah, I wonder if they get to choose or just, like, there's one kid walking around with, like, Jew curls.
Like, I didn't pick mine.
Yeah, I got the last pick.
Who had that joke that was like, why is St. Jude's called St. Jude's? Because he's, like, the patron saint of dead kids? Or something like that.
Yeah. I think that's like just someone we know. I don't know
who told me that. Yeah, they're like, why do they call it that?
That's so funny.
That's my confirmation name is Jude.
Oh, mine's Francis.
Yeah,
what's your name?
Gregory.
Yeah,
Catholic Unite.
Were we all altar boys?
Yeah.
Wait, what is?
it's like playing Russian roulette. Which one?
What is Gregory the patron saint of?
Like art.
Art?
Like music, like Gregorian chants. Music.
Okay.
I played guitar a lot in middle school. I thought like music was going to be my thing.
Yeah.
And then I was always fat, so I was like, if I don't become Meatloaf, this has to change.
Yeah.
So then I went into comedy.
Yeah.
Every comedian wants to be a rock
or
star.
CeeLo Green.
Yeah.
I see you driving around, and I just come to music festivals painted completely gold. What's yours, Jude?
Yeah,
Jude is the patron saint of hopeless causes.
That's
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like his big miracle, because you know how you need a big miracle.
Yeah,
it's like his Bill Burr moment. Bill Burr Philly moment was he like removed.
His miracle.
Bill Burr's the patron saint of the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah. He like removed a fishbone from a boy's neck and saved his life.
I do that every weekend.
Yeah.
That's not even impressive.
Yeah, he's basically Sylvester the cat or whatever.
Stallone.
Suffering.
Hey, you gotta fucking.
Oh, are you suffering from succotash? Let me.
Are you suffering some?
Boo.
One of my favorite things.
Isn't succotash just corn and lima
Suffering
beans?
succotash.
Is it?
I think succotash is just corn and lima beans mixed together.
The problem with that is just
it's
the
a real
name.
thing. I thought it was just this cat, like really.
No, succotash I think is literally corn and lima beans.
One of my favorite
Wow.
things that my little brother did was when he was getting confirmed. His name's Patrick. He goes up and they go, Patrick, what is your saint name now in the Catholic Church? And he goes, Patrick. And they go, okay, Patrick, you are now Patrick. And
All right, like, Patrick Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, and he was like, I had one friend.
Did he actually pick Patrick?
Yeah, he did. It was great. And then I had one friend, and she gets up there, and they because you know how you have to stand up and like essentially be like, I swear to God that I will be part of the church forever, whatever. And you have to say like, I do or whatever. And so everyone gets it, and then they get to her, and she stands up, and they go, do you swear? And she goes, no. And then everyone kind of goes, And she just sits down. They didn't say anything. They just like let it happen.
They just let it happen?
I was like, oh, okay. Like, I guess they were like, yeah, I guess she doesn't want to.
Wow, dude.
She went to like Sunday school for weeks and months, and then just,
She just Bill Cosby claused her way out of that.
You know what they did to convince me that like during my confirmation classes, they'd get like guest speakers, and they had one guy show up to explain to me what the superpowers of an angel was. Like, he was like trying to be like, it's actually really dope when you go to heaven because you get angel powers. And I was like, okay, like what? And he goes, you can teleport anywhere. And I was like, well, you don't have bodies in heaven. And he goes, and I was like, how do you know this? I said, how do you know this? Because I've read the Bible. I didn't read anything about that. And he was like, well, it can be inferred. It's like and then he was like, well, you know what else you can do as an angel? You can fly. And I was like, what? I was like, okay, you're changing the subject. Like, all the kids were like, whoa! Like, you know, like, you son of a bitch.
That is a good way to, though, because they're always just like, oh, you be good so you go to heaven.
Yeah.
It's like, they never be like, yeah, heaven has, like, hot TikTok girls everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what they should say.
Wait, what? I have one thing. I want to know what your guys' story, like what they did to you as a kid to try to trick you into believing in miracles. For me, I was at Vacation Bible School. Did you guys go to that?
Yeah.
I would volunteer and stuff. And they were like, you have to have faith that God is going to protect you from anything. Who here has faith? You know, of course, the little kids are like, me. And they're like, okay, do you have faith that if I pour this bottle...
It protects you from this football!
Well, pretty much. They were like, do you have faith that if I put this water bottle over your head, that you won't get wet? And the kids were like, And they go, okay, well, who wants to... And then one kid gets up, and they go, do you guys believe in God? And they go, yeah. And they go, really? And they go, yeah. And he puts it, and then water doesn't come out, and they're all like, oh my fucking God. They're all like looking at each other. And I'm standing there, I'm like, you've got to... kidding me. They put the water bottle. It's like David Blaine.
Yeah.
I walk over to the water bottle after everyone leaves, and I look, and there's just like saran wrap right around the top. And I was like, "You're just lying!" Like now these kids actually believe.
No, but you gotta lie, dude. I'm a firm believer that like the Bible is good for children.
In what way?
It's like a introductory pamphlet of how to be nice to people.
Which part?
News from bed, more like Jews from Egypt.
Yeah.
Prince Ali, Ali, Alibaba.
Yeah, dude. No, Jesus rules.
I wish these were hookahs, you know?
Yeah,
you should get a hookah for this.
I should get a hookah.
Like on a shelf that's right here.
Yeah.
So that you had Solo, Tequila Wango,
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker, Solo.
This is news from bed.
Hi, this is news from bed. I'm in bed, and this is the news. A New York City doctor is facing over 20 sex crime charges, including the drugging and raping of 6 women. Now, I don't like to victim blame, but it sounds like these women should have been eating more apples. John Legend and Chrissy Teigen were spotted taking their first family vacation as a family of 6. Oh, sorry, family of 5. They just had dinner. Because she eats
Yeah,
babies.
no, I get it.
DJ Casper, the creator of the iconic Cha-Cha Slide, has sadly passed away at the age of 58. Everybody dab your eyes.
Dab, 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 dab. How low can you go? Can you go 6 feet under?
The Barbie movie is set to release in Saudi Arabia on August 10th. The movie is expected to feature a geographically tailored post-credits scene where the audience gets stoned to death. A woman was bit by a shark on the Rockaway Beach and lost 20 pounds of flesh. Another young woman harmed by unrealistic beauty standards. Lastly, an Italian man has been crushed to death under thousands of wheels of Parmesan cheese, highlighting the danger of never saying stop to the cheese grating guy at Olive Garden. This has been News from Bed. Good night.
happened to John?
Yeah.
He never said stop.
Yeah.
And they never stopped.
You know, they always talk about endless breadsticks, but they never talk about endless cheese.
I guess I hope there's endless breadsticks in heaven.
Let's hope. That's
I thought that was funny. I just didn't want to laugh to see what you do.
No, dude, I've been bombing
Ding
lately.
dong ding dong ding a dong ding a ling ding 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 a long. That's how the song goes. And Patty does. This is news from bed. I'm gonna get you for your birthday one year like a cameo of someone really famous doing the. This is news from bed, or maybe I'll get one of the guys from the radio station to do it
That'd
like
be
really
cool.
cool.
You should get Beetlejuice.
This
is fucking news from bed.
And that little guy?
I'm just hanging around.
Yeah.
Why? What do you want
the
me
clip?
to say?
Have you seen the clip on Howard Stern when they're like, Beetlejuice, how much money do you have? I heard you have $1 million. He's like, I got $4 million. and then what's her name? What's the co-host?
Robin.
Robin's like, ooh, I want to date you. And he goes, yeah, I'll fuck you right now. And she's like, okay.
There's also
She's like, I'm the news lady. Like,
She's
that's my job.
There's also a clip of him being like, they're like, Beetle, why don't you like Barack Obama? And he's like, 'cause he's black. Like, Beetle, you're black. He's like, I ain't black, I'm Puerto Rican. He's like, I'm black Puerto Rican.
Oh my God. Who named him Beetlejuice? Was that Howard?
I don't know.
Did Howard? Because I knew he ran with that gang for a while.
I'd imagine
Don't
it was
say that
them.
name one more time though, because you said it and then you said it. So if we say it a third time,
Oh, true.
then we're
I
all
don't.
gonna turn
The
into
problem
little
is
black
I don't
retarded
have a
people.
fourth mic, so that would be
That would
rude.
be awkward.
It'd be rude to
I
summon
would
him.
give if Beetlejuice came in your room right now, I would give him my mic. I'd be so elated if Beetlejuice was real. He was so fun and wacky.
Well, you passed 3, you went to 4. So
Yeah,
I mean, I
I
guess
guess
no one
he's-
cares.
Oh, there he is.
You want to get nuts?
Michael Keaton. That blew my mind as a kid. I was like, that's Batman?
That's Batman. I didn't know that till like college.
It blew my mind. I was like, oh, he's like the greatest actor in the world.
Yeah.
I rewatched that movie and I didn't like it as much.
Really?
Yeah, no, I don't love it. I don't really love any Tim Burton movie. Not Batman, Beetlejuice.
Oh, really?
Here I go.
I thought Beetlejuice is really good. And you don't like Edward Scissorhands?
It's okay.
You don't like?
I don't know, man. I mean, maybe when I was younger, but as I got older, I feel like I'm not. As
He's not
interested.
really a great. He's not a genius.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's this one guy. He's a failed film guy that I know. He kept saying his favorite director was Tim Burton in high school, and I was like, "You are never going to succeed."
You're never.
I was
gonna
like,
make
"You will never succeed." He said that he hates Pulp Fiction, and I was like, "Even if you don't like it, you have to know it's a like, you know what I mean?"
No.
All right. Yeah.
Instead
Hey,
of doing work to become a good at your craft, you could just hate whatever the best stuff is, and it
And
makes you
that's-
feel
Yeah,
like
that's
you're
and then yours
exactly-
becomes the best.
right.
that's
yeah.
exactly what he. I was just like, "You know nothing."
Yeah.
Like taste is not the same as skill. Like having like a high taste about something, it's almost like you'd make a better critic than a creator because you need the like fundamental
okay,
skill.
to be good though. You have to have good taste. It starts. You
the
want to get into
Super
art 'cause you
Mario
have a good eye.
Bros. Movie.
Good.
Was the best movie to come out this year. And this has been news from Ben.
Audio time.
There's I'm gay.
Who you got in the docket? You got any big guests coming up? You got
Um,
OJ coming on with his son. They're gonna confess.
I got OJ coming on with this boat.
Yeah. I love OJ's advice on Twitter and stuff. I feel like.
Don't kill your wife.
Did you
If I did do it
So this Elon Musk fight is happening, I
Yeah.
guess.
in the Coliseum with
Yeah,
Mark,
and it's
yeah.
going to be live streamed on Twitter or X.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for
When
him.
is it happening?
But he said he weighs 300 pounds, so he needs to get surgery to lose weight in order to do
He does
the
not
thing.
weigh 300
Yeah,
pounds.
he does. I think he's like 6'5".
He's going to get annihilated because Mark has been working out with real MMA fighters. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he's like a top tier fighter, but
Yeah.
he's like, I've seen videos and I'm like, he's also got like reptilian brain. Like
I
he
want him to go
will.
against Jake Paul.
Jake Paul beat Nate Diaz. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys watch UFC, but like that was like pathetic. Like I feel that feels really wrong to me.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz is like a top. I mean,
He's a psycho.
It was a boxing match.
Yeah,
to
that's
be
the
fair, so
problem,
I feel
yeah.
like that's not really even terms because Nate
No.
Diaz is like a grappler. Or
Jake
whatever.
Paul is a genius at picking fights because
Yeah.
he knows
He picks
everyone's going to.
retired UFC fighters.
Yeah, and he knows everyone's going to tune in for that, and he also knows he's
So
going to
much
beat
money.
him
He
because,
has so
like,
much money.
if there's no grappling, it's game
It's definitely
over.
died down though. I feel like people don't tune in to watch this guy. Like I remember in the beginning when he first started doing it, I was like, I want to watch this guy get his like face.
but he
punched in.
didn't.
Yeah.
And the problem is like he's actually not a bad fighter. He's not like a great or good fighter. Like he would not make it very far in UFC. But at the same, it's just sad. Like if I were Nate Diaz, I'd be like, dude, you're revered. Don't end your career by getting beat up by a YouTuber.
But he got a check.
Yeah, he left. He left smiling. And he also laughed and smiling. He's like, Jake.
That's every Rocky movie. Yeah. Every Rocky movie is what Nate Diaz just went through. It's like, dude, just get the money.
I guess he did.
I win all the rounds. But you win.
I don't know. It's just to me. Also, part of me just wonders if it's like he got paid a shit ton, and there's something in the contract where it's like you just got to lose at the end. Like
I always think that
for these ones, these aren't official fights. They're exhibition matches. Like it's either you lose or it's a draw. The Paul people, the Paul brother, they've never like lost a fight. It's always a draw because also these matches aren't official, so it's always good. It's always an exhibition match. No one really wins.
Yeah, so the whole Floyd Mayweather one, like Floyd didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
dude.
And
it's also like, how is he supposed to box Logan? Like Logan Paul's like
so
10 inches tall.
He was like a football, but he's actually a really big dude.
Yeah,
he's like a really big dude. Well, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. was like a really cool thing, like two old pros like going at it or whatever. Yeah. But what scared the piss out of me was like Mike Tyson looked good still. Like like he looked right before he went on, he said that the gods of war were calling him again. I was like, God damn, this guy is amazing.
Yeah, we need to lock that guy up.
Scary. There's an anime about that.
Dude, wait till his CTE kicks in. Because it hasn't even begun to kick in yet. Like once it kicks in, dude, I don't even know what the fuck he's gonna do. He's
probably gonna name all of his kids his own name, like George Foreman.
Imagine he was so
George Foreman named all of his sons George Foreman, and his daughters are Georgito Foreman.
Really?
He's got like 7 kids, and they're all named George Foreman.
Why?
Imagine
that's what Mike Tyson's gonna do.
Imagine Mike Tyson's CTE kicks in, but it makes him like way smarter because he's already like a fucking psycho.
His lisp goes away.
Yeah, he just starts reading.
He's like, ladies and gentlemen, my violent actions do not represent who I really am.
Yeah, let me represent how I really feel by playing this ballad on violin.
One of the most awkward parts of, because Mike Tyson, he had like a traveling show where he would like have a slideshow going in the back and he's talking about his life, and they show it on HBO, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I like Mike Tyson. And it gets to the part about his allegations, you know?
Oh, really?
His sexual allegations. And he addresses it, but he's Mike Tyson, so he's not like delicate.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, then I got them allegations. and he's like, but all these are lies, and these people are trying to take me down. And it's like silent crowd. And he goes, and I just know my enemies will never fucking get me. And he like never said like I didn't do, like, you know what I mean? Like he didn't go like it was one of the hardest moments of my life because I was accused. Like he was like, those fuckers. And he goes, then I fought this person. To the next slide.
They're like, all right, okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Like, how are we supposed to believe that Mike Tyson sexually assaulted you? They just have like one ear bitten off.
Classic sign. Telltale.
Your Honor.
She's like, what? Speaking to this one.
I rest my case.
I like to call to the stand a witness. Yeah. They just open a cooler. Just a little bit.
Was there ever a sports star that you looked up to growing up, like that you guys were like, okay, that guy's so awesome? Like
Bernie Williams.
Really?
Yeah, Bernie Williams was my guy.
Who's Bernie Williams?
Center fielder for the Yankees.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. You played baseball. The thing is that like I always like people are always astonished when they find out that super athletes like Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, all these people are like psychopaths.
Yeah.
But it's like they're playing a physical sport. We are pushing them to the human limit. Yeah. And then when Mike Tyson bites a man's ear off, we're like, who could have saw this coming? Yeah. Like, it's like he would be hypnized.
And what more of a test of physicality than raping a woman?
Do you think that's on his stats now? It's like 6'4", 220 pounds, 3 wins, 4 losses, 2 rapes,
and one draw. He never came.
Allegedly.
2 gropes, 3 rapes, and a draw.
Jesus Christ!
What? This is news from bed. This is what they want.
I had a news from bed joke one time about this boxer. It was like undefeated. Boxer Marco whatever was just accused of beating up his wife in a hotel. His record extends to 19-0.
I love those jokes about Conor McGregor where he's the heavyweight champion of like the geriatric division or whatever. He's punching old people.
Yeah.
Punched like 3 old people.
When
like,
Conor
he hasn't
McGregor
lost a single one.
Conor McGregor beats up a Walmart cashier. That was a meme for a while. When I worked for a startup tech company on Long Island, and it was a pharmacy that was like high tech, and I was the marketing director, but they never asked me my opinion on any of the marketing things. So when they spent $20,000 to get their logo on a boxer's shorts in a low-level boxing match, I kind of hesitated to tell them that was a horrible idea. Like, that's not how people figure out about products. We just like sponsored a boxer.
That's like 1920s.
So he like comes out, and like we're watching the video, he comes out in the fucking like thing, and it's like a shitty, like, you know, very low tier streamed on like ESPN 38 like boxing match, and he's got like the robe on, and it says like the name. I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but it just says like the name of this weird pharmacy that's like failing. It's like a start. It hasn't even sold a product yet. And he's got like the logo on his shorts. And the guy just gets his like shit rocked. Like, how effective is the marketing if the guy loses?
Yeah, you gotta at least pump him with steroids to be like, we got good drugs.
Drugs.
That is some old timey advertising.
Every advertising scheme is a scheme. It's like a villain. You might as well tie a woman to the train tracks and twirl your mustache if you're coming up with marketing.
I heard like marketing doesn't really work. I heard it's like a really just like a waste.
You can only reinforce what people are already aware of.
Yeah, it only works if you already wanted the product.
Yeah, I actually don't think I've ever seen an ad that's made me go like, oh, I want that.
Podcasts though, like if they're talking about like, because once you put like a promo code in there, it's like, oh, I'm supporting their podcast and I'm gonna have a hard cock. Oh, man.
You want to be erect listening to News from Bed? Put in the code Patty Penis for 30% off.
Yeah,
Blue Chew.
Yeah, for my podcast, put in the code word pussy cocaine if you want to go all night long.
That pussy cocaine. Leave me up at night.
Matthew McConaughey was my. He was like, yeah, you like
pussy
that?
is a flat circle.
And pain just keeps going around and ends with pussy and starts with pussy.
Pain, pussy.
Cocaine is in there too.
Matthew McConaughey. That's my pussy.
Matthew McConaughey.
Hey. Oh, man. Dude, I did the cupboard last night.
Did you fucking rip it, dude?
The show was fine, but I did a mic before, and it was like an entirely black audience.
Fuck yeah.
So I did a Cleopatra joke.
They like
I'm
it?
just like Egyptians are mad because they say Netflix's depiction of Cleopatra was too black. The real Cleopatra would never throw her boyfriend's PlayStation out the window. Crickets, dude. They fucking hated it. I'm so bad at like telling what an audience actually wants.
It's always funnier to go for a stereotype no one's ever heard of before than to just be something stupid.
Yeah.
Like just saying something like,
you know, that's the thing, is it is nuanced.
Like, that's not funny, really. Like, but like going for like through her boyfriend's PlayStation. Like, I wonder if you just have to cycle through a bunch of obscure things till you find something.
I know, but that's like that joke has worked multiple times, and like they were just like not down. The one guy, because I also did a bit about how like there was this fat girl walking in front of me.
Like, a bit. There was this fat girl.
I think I did say bitch.
You didn't want to throw two insults in there.
But there was a fat girl walking in front of me one night, and it was like really late, and like she kept like looking over her shoulder at me, like I was gonna like rape her or something. And I was like, listen, you get one rape. Why would I waste it on you? You know? And dude, that bombed too. But after the mic, this guy came up to me. He's like, dude, that was so funny. That joke. He's like, but you looked like an asshole when you said it. It's like, yeah, I do that a lot.
That's funny though. Yeah.
I feel like that's the problem though, is I see a lot you'll take a risk, which I think is good, and then eventually you're going to figure out what works for every audience, and like maybe it's the joke that works, you just have to say one thing before it to make yourself not seem like an asshole.
I know. I think it's like very minute facial expressions.
I think a lot of people aren't figuring out what audiences want. Like sometimes people are just kind of saying, like, you ever just like, the worst is when you tell a joke and people go like, oh, and you're like, that's not a laugh. Like, you know, you're not.
Yeah. I don't want to be cute.
No, like you want someone to be like, oh shit, why the fuck did he say that?
Dude, I listened to like some, like I went to an open mic and then I was listening back to it. This was like a couple weeks ago. And it's not the same as what you went through upstate, but it's like one of those moments where you're just like, well, I don't even know what I've been doing. Like I listen back and one of my jokes, I'm like, I start with, you ever be And I'm like, I don't talk like that. Why am I like, you ever be fucking a bitch? Like, what the fuck am I doing?
Was this in front of a black audience?
No.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what cadence have I adopted here? Like, I'm just speaking like someone that I don't talk to.
Dude, after we saw Cat Williams, I was a black guy on stage for like 2 weeks.
Funny.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even Cat Williams that was so funny. It was all his openers.
Yeah.
Cat wasn't funny?
He was fine.
He was fine, but
he advertised a show for himself, and then it was just a showcase of a bunch of comedians he liked. Like, I didn't want to see Cat Williams.
And they were all great.
They were great.
Except the women. They were just women. But they were good to look at. They were very funny.
You and your family are related, aren't you?
Call that.
Your
but
uncle's
James
nephew.
can attest. They just wore very tight outfits.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It was
I see what you're saying.
And
like
they
were-
twerked on stage. They didn't even tell jokes. They just danced.
They did
Oh,
dance.
okay, yeah.
They did
yeah,
dance.
yeah.
They were like, ah.
I see.
Sometimes my boyfriend sees me, and I just go, ah. And she started shaking her ass.
Wait, what was the one part? She was like, she's like, I went to the doctor, found out I just beat cancer, and like a beat drops, and she starts like
They would
twerking.
drop music, and then
That's
girls
good.
would start
Yeah,
twerking.
dude, they'd
Like,
hit a
that's
punchline,
funny.
drop a beat, and people would just stand up and go. I was like, this is so much more evolved than white
it's
comedy.
So well, they've been doing that for 30 or 40 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Bernie Mac, when he gets like,
God.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers, hit it, and then he starts, and he's wearing pants that is his face painted onto the.
Dude, how do you have the confidence to
it's-
wear your own body on your own body?
It was just so crazy. And apparently everyone was bombing before him.
Yeah.
And so he came out and he was like, fuck this audience.
yeah.
But like, I don't know, that dropping the beat thing, I feel like that's just been happening, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, was it Patrice
Yeah.
O'Neal who was like,
They've been dropping the
Bernie Mac-
beats.
It's like,
That was
yeah.
what was fun about the live talk show, was that we had the band there, and so like we could do something, and then sometimes they'd give you the, but if they didn't like it, they would not give
They
you
would
the
not,
yeah.
Like you kind of, it's like I don't know, like you need a little pizzazz sometimes, because like if you're not like the ace cream of the crop comedian, like I honestly don't really want to see 45 minutes from someone who hasn't been doing it a very long time. Like maybe you should spice it up with some music and
Yeah, dude, believe me, the crowd in Utica realized that very quickly. I did 40 fucking minutes.
Yeah, dude, that's sick. That's fucking cool, dude. You fucking ate shit for 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
no, that's good for you. That's like the hardest workout of your life that makes
Yeah.
you question, like, should I keep doing CrossFit?
Yeah,
You know,
dude,
like-
it rocked my world.
No, I think you're gonna be happier. I think, I don't know because I don't do comedy as consistently as you guys, but I do believe that you probably have to be broken and then just realize you have to like laugh at yourself because like you're like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever decided to do, because you took it so seriously, only for someone to be like, you're gay up in Utica, and you're like, oh my god, like wait, they're right, like I can't even make these people
I know.
laugh. And then,
my dad called me yesterday. He was like, "Hey, is everything okay?" It's like, God damn it.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. My family does want to come to a show, so sometimes it's like, oh, I better be fucking good.
Yeah, or just like, that's the thing is like, I was I had this like internal like conflict. Quarrel. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was using it correctly.
No, it's quarrel.
I had this internal quarrel whether or not I should try to be as funny as I can or try to make my dad happy. And I landed somewhere in the middle and was neither.
Yeah. I had my mom, when I left Gainesville to move to New York, my friends and I, we did one last, like, because we were doing the comedy scene there, and very quickly in Gainesville, you become, like, we should go to Gainesville and do shows there.
Yeah.
For, like, because James and I have talked about
that'd be great.
We can sell out the venues that are there just because there's nothing going on, and we know everyone in those towns, and they would love it. They genuinely would like it. So it'd be a good experience. But
that'd be great.
We like packed out this like kind of bar that had the stage, and it was like just so filled. It was so much fun. And I remember my mom was like standing there recording, and I just was like, oh my god, I'm going to be talking about jerking off to Phineas and Ferb porn. And I just like, she was standing there, and I was like, Mom, like, just know this isn't, me. I have to do this. Like, and I'm doing the joke. And then like right before I finish it, I'm just like, I look over and I see my mom, and she's just recording me going like, she wants to be supportive, but she's like, whatever. And I was like, oh my god, that's my mom, guys.
Dude, yeah.
And everyone was like,
Camera slowly goes down.
Dude, that was the biggest failure, was like, my dad was running a live switcher between two cameras. So he's got all this footage, and he was like, hey, like, I'll send you the footage. And I was like, Dad, don't rush. That's like, none of it is usable.
I need to watch it. I need to see the part where you took your pants off.
Yeah.
In the dark.
In the dark.
You know how like Pete Holmes has that video of like a big bomb that he had? Do you ever see that video? He like edits it with all these like things he did wrong. Like maybe one day in the future you'll be able to look at the video and make something out of it, or like it's sometimes funny to have.
I actually think it's a watershed moment for you. Like I actually think that it's a turning point. I think that was a big growth.
I hope so.
Just because like I don't know, you were talking about how you're like, oh, I want to. I'm like, that's you know what I mean. That's exactly what you
definitely
needed.
like. I kind of was getting to the point where I was like, I don't give a fuck if I do good or bad. And like, I think I'm actually like at that point.
Yeah.
It's like I bombed so hard at the mic yesterday, like and I felt nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, that stuff's still funny. Like whatever.
But because it's not done yet. It's not done yet. So like, you know, it's just I mean, what sucks about that experience up in Utica is like those are jokes that you're like, well, this is done.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's more crust because you're like, no, this is.
It's like, oh, I haven't even begun.
This is what I have.
This is on tape. Up top, coming out soon.
Oh my god! Actually, I'm very excited for that. Up top, why are you smiling like that?
I don't know.
I was like, are you not like?
We are actually at the end of the podcast. If you guys want to plug.
Yeah. So we're hoping to have the up top edit, and we're gonna do like a screening. It's a show that Patty and James did that I directed. It should be showing August 31st. It'll be great.
Whoa.
We have like 5 or 6 different comics performing. It's about an hour long. The intro is sick. I did hand-drawn animations for it and stuff too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hell yeah, bro.
We have like a local punk band for the credits song, and it should be great.
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
fucking awesome.
It should be really cool.
Nice.
That was like, it was so impressive, that entire thing. Like you guys both together, but like with the show, like, you know, Tonight Show and everything. But like when we went to that, I was like blown away. I like, for some reason, I can't imagine people putting that together who are like of our age, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, it just like blew my mind that like all of that came together so perfectly. And it was just like a moment in my life where I'm like, holy shit, like being in the industry is one thing, but like having friends in the industry is like, that's like a fucking gold mine. Like that's absolutely like, you can't put a price on that, you know? It was so projects. Cool. Yeah. And I envy that about, like, you guys are both like incredible in that regard, like just getting something done, you know? Like
one day you'll have a podcast for people on your bed.
You have to know that it's funny that you say that, but you are sitting here doing a podcast, getting that done. And
this is easy.
Yeah, but it's done. You know what I mean? Like it's a thing. And also you're part of the up top thing. Like you did that too. That was our biggest goal, was like, we got to make this thing accessible for like, so when you guys get up there, it's just like, it's ready to go. And also it's great because I have friends in the industry, like you said. So I was like, why are we not doing something of a higher caliber? So, you know. Yeah,
but just like taking that initiative and actually doing it is like one thing, you know? Like talking about it is enough. Like 99% of people talk about these ideas.
I know, I get so annoyed. I get like angry when I talk about stuff and don't do it.
Yeah.
I get suicidal. Like that's why I have to do it. Because it has nothing to do with like succeeding. I get really, 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 really upset. Like,
and it had to feel so fucking good. Like now that it's like coming to fruition, it's got to be like, wow. I fucking put all that together. I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of, like, I'm happy to show to you guys, and just like, you know, but there were some like rookie mistakes in it that there's always going to be. You know, like it's still better than an iPhone. It's still like professional looking. It still sounds good. So like, but there's things where I'm like, oh my god, it's so stupid. I should have known to do that, or oh my gosh, I should have done. Like, there's just things that you learn from. But we knew that going into it. We're like, we're gonna make it, and then we're gonna see like, oh, we can do it better. Yes, and we're planning to do another one before the end of the year to get 3 more comics and do 20 minutes each. Nice, and do like another hour-long thing. Because the goal is to eventually try and have someone in the city recognize that there's like a team of people that could easily set this up, get paid, get a location, you know. And do and I mean, you guys are kind of on the forefront of that, because now there's like shows coming out like Don't Tell and whatever, where it's like it's a produced thing, and like the clips and the videos and stuff that come out of it are like beautiful, and like the comics benefit, you guys benefit, the audience benefits, because it's like they get to see comedy in that professional sense. And it makes like a great new way of doing. It's a dry run for you guys too. Yeah. To get to feel like, okay, this is on tape. This is what we got to do. This is a real deal. Sure. Like, and also one thing too is like, I mean, we've talked about it all the time, but like growing up, I just watched comedy special after comedy special, and like, I just feel like, and I've worked on a few professional ones too, and I just think
it's all very clean and detached, and it's very streamy and stuff like that. So I hope that when people watch this one too, it feels raw in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It feels like kind of like, okay, not everything is perfect, but it feels like very much like a real like kind of Brooklyn centric comedians who have been doing it for years. So I don't know.
What's the final? Is it called Up Top?
Yeah, it's called Up Top. Yeah, I'll show you some of the logos and animations and stuff after.
Awesome.
It's really cool. So that should be coming out soon.
So yeah, I'll when that's out, I'll like put it in my shit. And very exciting. Dude, I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, I don't got nothing. I got Up Top.
No, wait, James, you have something. I mean, there's no set date, but James is directing a one act that I wrote with my roommate called "It's Not You, It's Me," or "It's Not Me, It's You."
I forgot.
And James is going to direct that. Hopefully that'll be at the Brooklyn Comedy Collective sometime before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that'll be cool. So that's like a 2-person show that
that'll be fun.
Michael and I are putting on.
BCC.
And then we got a weekly show at Star Bar, 10 p.m.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have a weekly show at Star Bar. You have like a monthly.
I'll go to bed now.
You also do Bad Trip, but who cares?
Yeah, it's just whatever.
So
Bad Trip this Thursday.
The first Wednesday of every month, we're going to do a live late night show like we did. The last one was fucking
so fun.
awesome.
Sexual.
So fun.
Are you going to put like a video together for that?
Yeah, I'll put it up. But if you want to see the first one, you can check it out on my YouTube page. My YouTube page is just sopping wet, full of content.
Do you think it'll be ready by Saturday?
Could be.
Okay.
You gonna put some in?
Yeah, just let me know. I'll put a link.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming.
Patty.
Appreciate it.
Catholic boys.